Report information Zulu 1900 Zulu. Wind calm. Visibility half a mile. Sky condition ceiling 1,700 feet overcast. Temperature 15. Dew point 1 tree. Altimeter 29.92. ILS runway 20 right in use. Landing and departing runway 20 left and runway 20 right. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact you have Zulu.
Hey folks, welcome to another simulator session with Full Spectrum Flight. Today we are in the 172 with the G1000. It is a cloudy spring day at SoCal, and we've got Autumn flying us into John Wayne for the ILS 20 right. We just listened to the ATIS and heard that the ILS for 20 right is the approach to expect. So we're going to go ahead and load that in to our flight plan and then begin briefing the descent and approach into John Wayne. So we've picked the procedure from our flight plan. We've gone ahead and loaded the full approach. We usually recommend loading a full approach even if you are expecting vectors. It's much easier to shorten an approach than it is to lengthen it, especially once you're in the high workload environment of conducting the approach. If they want you to go out for a procedure turn or hit a certain fix and you have to go backwards to load that or find it, can often cause a lot of unnecessary work. So we just loaded it from the initial approach fix out there at Sager, even though we're not really expecting to fly that approach. And we're going to go ahead and identify the localizer. So you can see in the top left of your PFD, the localizer is identified textually with the ISNA, and that should satisfy.
1720 Foxtrot, turn left heading 090, expect vectors ILS 20 right.
Left heading 090, expect vectors 20 right, November 1720 Foxtrot. But if you do need to identify, or your examiner asks you how you would identify using the Morse code, just hit that nav button monitoring the sound, and you can hear that. Just make sure that your volume is up on your nav radio there using that top left knob on the PFD. So as we head over here, we are talking to SoCal Approach already. Ideally, all of this stuff would be done about 20 minutes prior to your top of descent, or 20 minutes from your initial approach fix. And that's a good rule of thumb to keep for all of your flying, because if you're using miles out, that's going to change as your aircraft gets faster, and that time's going to feel really compressed if you say, okay, well, 50 miles out, I want to do it. So 20 minutes is going to be 20 minutes no matter if you're in a small training airplane or a jet going, Mach 0.8. So for sake of time, we're already talking to approach, but the stuff we're going to brief has happened well before this point, and by the time we're talking to approach, we are ready, everything's briefed, and we're ready to basically just conduct the approach and come on down. So let's talk about it. A great memory item for preparing an approach into an airport that's going to require an instrument approach is your 5As, your ATIS, altimeter, approach, loading and activating, your approach and brief, and your altitude. So starting with the ATIS, which this is all going to start about 20 minutes out from your top of descent, as mentioned. We listened to the ATIS, we've got information Zulu, our altimeter is set, 2992. We've loaded the approach, it's ready to go from the initial approach fix, and now we're going to brief it. So today we're looking at the FAA approach plate, and the first thing that we're going to want to do is make sure it's current. So you can see on the side of the chart there, it's valid from 21 of March 2024 to 18 April 2024. Today's the 22nd, so the approach plate is current. Now let's go ahead and brief it. Basically reading top to bottom, left to right is the easiest way to do this to get all the pertinent information. We've got the ILS or localizer head on down. See briefly approach. ILS 20 right approach. Localizer frequency is 111.75. Final approach force is 196. And touchdown zone elevation is 54 feet. And the node circling is not authorized at night in off ALS. None of that's going to apply to us for today, so we're just briefly looking over the notes. RVR down to 800 is authorized with the use of a flight director autopilot to the decision altitude. We've got approach lightings, and for the Mouser it's going to be sequence flashing lights into the runway. Missed approach is going to be a climb to 3000 on the localizer. Out to minnow and
20 Foxtrot, turn 10 degrees left.
10 degrees left, 20 Foxtrot. Alright, so expected vectors final, we're going to come in and capture the glide slope crossing at Lemon at 2,200. We'll come on down to our minimums of 255 feet. Here's the visibility of the half mile, it's overcast at 1,700, so we are expecting a successful approach. But we are prepared to go around if necessary. We've checked all the waypoints in the box, meaning that all the waypoints line up in the flight plan, and everything can be done in nav except for the final approach course from Lemon inbound. We're going to switch from our pink needles to green needles for that, and fly the localizer and the glide slope down to our minimums. We're landing flaps 3, and from a stabilized approach criteria from the final approach fix, we're going to make sure that we never exceed more than 3/4 scale deflection laterally or vertically. We're heading to the FBO facilities on the west side of the field, so it'll be a right turn off the runway, expecting maybe hotel or golf. We've got a high-speed exit at Foxtrot, so whatever works best for us is what we'll do. Right turn off the runway.
20 Foxtrot, ascend and maintain 2,500.
Ascend and maintain 2,500, 20 Foxtrot. Alright, so as you can see on the MFD, we've got our final approach course depicted by the white line out there. You can see the procedure turn on the kind of the top of the screen. That's that procedure turn at Sager and all the waypoints in between. So we're kind of getting a visual representation of where we are and how we might intercept this final approach course.
Sierra Foxtrot, turn right heading 0905.
Right heading 0905, 20 Foxtrot. As we dial our heading there, and get ready to level off 2,500, we kind of cross-check our altitude with our waypoints, and we'll go ahead and activate vectors to final at this point. So what you see, what has done happen now is the final approach course is live from the final approach fix kind of infinitely backwards. So we can capture the final approach course anywhere behind Lemon, and that course is live for us. Also notice that the pink needles on your PFD display have turned to green. That's indicating that it is actually navigating via the localizer frequency that we shared earlier. So when we engage the approach and we have the autopilot engaged, it's going to automatically capture.
20 Foxtrot, you're 7 miles from Lemon, turn right heading 130 to intercept the localizer, cleared ILS 20 right approach.
Okay, right heading 130 to intercept, cleared ILS 20 right approach, 20 Foxtrot. Alright, so there's our approach clearance. We can go ahead and dial in that 130 heading. That's going to be our intercept course. And when you're ready, arm that approach. So you press the approach button, and you can see on the top of your PFD, LOC on the left is in white, GS on the right is in white. Our localizer and glide slope are armed. As we get within the capturing range for those, you will see them flash and capture and turn to green, showing that they're engaged. And and we'll be on that localizer course. Alright, so there it is. The localizer is captured. It's flashing to let you know. And we'll change from white to flashing to green once it's engaged. Localizer is captured. And you can see that lateral deflection coming in over your aircraft symbol on your HSI. And as it comes into the center, the aircraft will continue its turn to the final approach course of 196. There it goes. Always a good habit to center your heading bug. This doesn't affect your navigation at all once you're in this mode. But if you did need to go back to heading, and for example you had your heading bug twisted around to 360 heading and pressed heading, it would immediately start that turn to 360. So if it's centered and you hit heading, you'll just continue on your present course, and then you can adjust your heading without the aircraft doing anything unexpected. Alright, so let's go ahead. We've got it slowed down. Let's get flaps 1 in. Start getting this thing configured for landing. And as we approach Lemon here, go ahead and get flaps 2. You can see that the glide slope is live. The green diamond is traveling down and capturing our path. Very shortly, we're going to see the glide slope flashing green, just like we saw the localizer, and that will indicate to us the
20
glide slope.
Foxtrot, contact John Wayne Tower 126.8.
Over to tower 126.8, 20 Foxtrot. Alright, so we'll switch over to tower. John Wayne Tower, 20 Foxtrot, crossing Lemon, ILS 20 right.
20 Foxtrot, John Wayne Tower, visibility 1/2 mile. Bottoms reported 200 feet. Runway 20 right, clear to land.
Copy all. Runway 20 right, clear to land, 20 Foxtrot. Alright, so you're clear to land. Let's go get flaps 3. Be fully configured for landing prior to crossing Lemon. And good call, or at some point your examiner is going to have you hand fly an ILS most likely from the final approach course in. So saw you disconnect the autopilot, and this is all you now. Just stay nice and stable, make small adjustments to your pitch and power. As you come down, remember that adding power is going to slow your rate of descent. Reducing power is going to increase it. Increasing your pitch is going to increase your speed. And what I mean by that is if you go nose down, your speed is going to increase. Nose up, your speed is going to decrease. So finding that perfect balance of pitch and power and trim will allow you to just coast right on down this glide slope. Once the glide slope is armed, go ahead and set your missed approach altitude of 3,000 feet. That way if you do need to go around, everything's all set up. Your flight director knows exactly where you want to be instead of you trying to do it on the fly in a high workload environment like a go around. Talk to yourself out loud as you're coming down. This is not only going to prevent you from making a mistake. If you're getting inside of your head, you'll hear what you're doing and recognize if you're saying something incorrectly or missing something. And as you start to get in the habit of that, it will just be natural to almost hear yourself as if you're your own co-pilot. That's going to set you up for success and an easy transition yourself some call outs. You can decide what you want to call out. 1,000 feet to minimums, 500 feet to minimums. A 3, 2, 1 if you like. Keep it as simple as what makes sense to you. But do make those call outs, and that way you'll know exactly where you are as you come on down. So, as you see, we have 260 set in our Barrow window there. Those 255 is our minimum. Easy math, call it 300. Adding 1,000 to that, 1,800 will be our 1,000 feet. And we'll go ahead and make those calls to ourselves as we come on down. Speed's looking great. Right pegged on that glide slope. Everything's looking really good. This will probably feel like the longest 5 miles that you've flown in your life, especially in a check ride environment. But just stay relaxed, let the airplane do the work, pitch, power, and trim. That's what it's all about. Making very minor corrections, especially for your lateral deviations. Start getting a little off course to the left, turn back, standard rate turn, 1 second will give you roughly a 3-degree change in your direction. Okay, your 400 to minimums. Everything's looking good, stable, airspeed's on point, making those minor corrections. Flying her on down. Okay, starting to see ground contact there at the bottom of your screen. And there's 100 to minimums. I've got approach lights in sight. Minor corrections. Okay, here's minimums. Got the runway threshold, runway edge lights. Continuing to the landing. Minor adjustments, find that center line. Fly the center line with the ailerons, orient the nose with the rudders. Landing's assured, power comes back, bring that rudder to the left just a touch, find that center line. Nicely done. Fight for that center line, ease onto the brakes. Right turn, looks like we'll make golf here. Alright, ILS 20 right, John Wayne. You're a seasoned veteran. Great job. Let's clear the runway, after landing checklist, and tower will tell you to contact ground. Great job. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.